Welcome to another episode of Whether or Not. We have a lot lined up for you today. Travis is in the studio with another soggy forecast, and Christy takes us to Butler, Pennsylvania for a look at how weather impacts the ambulance service. All of that plus trivia, nature in the news, and much more. Whether or Not starts now. And welcome to this episode of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Tyler Jankoski.
And I'm your forecaster, Travis Patterson.
Well, I tell you what, we've had quite a wet pattern over the last couple of weeks. Last Friday, we had nearly a half an inch here in the State College area. On Monday, we had 3/4 of an inch. And on Thursday, we saw even more rain with another storm system that moved through the area. So Travis, do we have any nice weather in store? Is there any summer-like weather in the forecast?
There is. Finally, we did have a potent storm move through on Thursday, which gave much of the state a great soaking of rain in areas. There is a glimmer of hope, however. On Saturday, we see plenty of sunshine around and will be much more comfortable with a temperature right around 75 degrees.
Well, I'm certainly rooting for sunshine on Saturday. Let's hope that pans out. But Travis will have all the details in the forecast coming up. But first, nature in the news.
Forecasting the high seas and vicious ocean storms recently got a boost. The Navy put into use the Naval Global Environmental Model, or NAVGEM, in the spring and is now using it at the forecasting center that protects the large U.S. fleet. The new model, according to the Navy, provides detailed and accurate forecast out to 10 days. Dr. Ronald Farrick, Program Officer for the Office of Naval Research, said, "When a global weather model for the Navy gets replaced, that's a huge news. The model is expected to be in operational use for years to come."
You may have heard about it in the news over the last couple of weeks, a failed weather satellite up in outer space. Well, several weeks ago, the GOES-13 weather satellite that covers the eastern United States experienced abnormalities and was taken out of service. Well, just last week, NOAA officials announced that the satellite would be put back in operational service. Engineers believe the difficulties with GOES-13 may have been caused by a micrometeoroid hit. They say, however, that no instruments were damaged in the space collision. The satellite began servicing the eastern U.S. once again this past Monday.
Last week, Drs. Gray and Klotzbach of Colorado State issued an updated Atlantic hurricane season forecast. The forecast of 18 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes hasn't changed since the original forecast issued back in April. The scientists predict a 48% chance a major hurricane hits the East Coast, which is higher than the average of 31%. Colorado State, though, isn't the only source for hurricane season forecast. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, has a similar forecast of 13 to 20 named storms, 7 to 11 hurricanes, and 3 to 6 being major hurricanes.
The U.S. Open being played this week in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, has been plagued with a deluge of rain. Ardmore, which is just outside of Philadelphia, saw more than 3.5 inches of rain from the remnants of Tropical Storm Andrea. On Monday, the first day of the tournament, another storm dropped more than 2 inches. Now, after only 2 days of playable weather but mushy conditions on Tuesday and Wednesday, a late-week storm dropped another 1 to 3 inches on Thursday. The end of the tournament is this weekend, but with Philadelphia already more than 5 inches above average for June, things could get quite dicey. Travis will have more details in the forecast coming up.
Well, let's look at your forecast. As Tyler did mention earlier in the show, we saw some impressive rain totals across the state for the past couple of days. Strong system moved through on Thursday, giving us another dosing of heavy rains across the entire Commonwealth. That sense has moved off the mid-Atlantic coast, and the weekend ahead actually looks fairly gorgeous with plenty of sunshine on Saturday into Sunday. So the setup for Friday, that storm system is hanging out in Long Island off the mid-Atlantic coast, Back behind it, some northwesterly flow will bring winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour for Friday afternoon. And we will mostly be dealing with, for the western two-thirds of the state, we'll be dealing with mostly cloudy skies for Friday afternoon. The greatest chance for some rain will be for our far eastern counties and Pennsylvania as this low continues to kick back some disturbing weather Friday afternoon. But notice, behind it, a high pressure system that will continue to seep into our area by Saturday afternoon, clear everything out, and we will be left with some mostly sunny skies. Looks to be gorgeous. A great day to head out to downtown historic Bellefonte and catch up on some classic hot rods with the 25th anniversary Bellefonte Cruise, if that's your sort of thing. Then Sunday, that high pressure system continues to move farther to the south and east. We will be left with mostly sunny skies and a few clouds poking here and there for Sunday afternoon on your Father's Day. So breaking it down with some more details for your forecast. Friday, we will be left with plenty of clouds in the region as that low hugs the coast of Pennsylvania, and it will kick back some clouds in Friday afternoon. We'll warm up to around 72 degrees for Friday. Then the clouds will start to wane overnight on Friday, and they'll diminish and will dip down to around 52 degrees. Those winds will also dip down Friday night, and a typical overnight low for June will be around 58 degrees. Thanks to those clouds diminishing overnight until Friday, it will lead to a gorgeous day on Saturday with brilliant sunshine, a high of around 77 degrees. Do put on the shades and lather on the sunscreen if you are headed to Bellefonte to catch some classic hot rods. A pleasant night follows Saturday night, low of around 55 degrees, calm, and a few high passing clouds Saturday night. Then to Sunday, your Father's Day, it looks to be fair. 79 degrees, starting out with sunny skies and a few clouds rolling in as well. As it is a fabulous Father's Day forecast, let's take a look at some hourly details. As you take him to a hefty breakfast at 8 a.m., it'll be around 69 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Then noon, as he wants to eat lunch and dine on your dime, it'll be around 73 degrees with some clouds starting to stream in. Then as you hit the links, Sunday afternoon around 3 p.m., we'll reach a high of 79 degrees with a stray shower moving into the area. Christy is up next with a feature on the Butler ambulance service and some weather obstacles they have to overcome.
Siren sounding can be heard at least once a day in most towns and cities. This signal can mean emergency personnel is on their way to help someone in need. Thankfully, we have these brave men and women to help when we fall ill, have an accident, or even when severe weather strikes. How do they stay safe or help us when weather conditions seem dangerous? I recently traveled to Butler Ambulance Service in Butler, Pennsylvania, and talked to Supervisor Nathan Bacher about how weather affects emergency personnel. Rain, snow, sleet. Emergency personnel has to drive through all types of weather and precipitation. So what type of training is involved to help them prepare?
Actually, we start out with what's called emergency vehicle operations training or operations driving. EVOC is the certification. All of our EMTs and paramedics have that. It covers adverse driving conditions, and we also do a course called CEVO, which is Certified Emergency Vehicle Operations course, and it covers both ice, snow, rain, things like that. So there's quite a bit that goes into it, plus their driver training while they're here.
Mr. Bacher went on to say driving on a beautiful sunny day or during a summer rain shower can be more dangerous than wintry conditions.
Well, most people think that because if it's icy out or snowy out that there's a lot of accidents, and really it's the opposite. We do get a lot of accidents when the roads are bad. However, a lot of those are low speed, low impact. Usually people just walk away from those. Summertime is when we see a large influx of our more severe accidents, younger kids driving, 18, 19-year-olds, 16-year-olds that are out of school, driving on the summer roads. Plus, if it doesn't rain for 3 or 4 days and you get a nice hard rain in the summer, all the oil comes up and it's a lot slipperier than even driving on snow.
So which time of the year is weather most harmful to our health here in Pennsylvania? The answer is surprising.
Most of the health-related risks are the extremes, extreme cold or extreme heat. This area is mostly worse off for the extreme heat because a lot of people don't have central air or air conditioning at all. So the Butler area has a lot of people with respiratory issues and cardiac issues, and the heat really takes a toll on them. So we see a large influx of our difficulty breathing calls, chest pains, things like that when it's really hot and humid out.
Mr. Bacher talked about heat-related incidents occurring most often. As we begin that trek into those hot summer months, it is important to know how to prevent heat-related illness. Stay inside. Even a few hours in air conditioning can help prevent heat-related illnesses. Electric fans can cool, but AC is better, or even taking a cool shower will help prevent more than using an electric fan. Also, minimize strenuous activities, so save those garden needs and even mowing your lawn for cooler days than a hot one. And also remember, children's temperatures increase 3 to 5 times faster than adults, so they are more susceptible to heat-related illnesses. Also, elderly and people with heart-related issues are also more susceptible, so make sure you check up on them when summery hot days do occur. For Whether or Not, I am Christy Shields. Next up is your extended forecast and weekend recap.
Well, time now to take one last look at your weekend forecast and the extended week ahead. We saw a potent storm system move through Thursday, which left quite a soaking and a lot of rain across the state on Thursday. That has since moved off the eastern seaboard. A few showers could linger around for the eastern portion of the state on Friday. For us, however, in central Pennsylvania, they will be left with plenty of clouds, a few sun peaks around here in the afternoon. Otherwise, a high of around 72 degrees. Then that clears out and it makes for a gorgeous day on Saturday with a high of around 77 degrees. Just plenty of sunshine out there. And then a comfortable night ahead at 55 degrees Saturday night. Then Father's Day on Sunday, plenty of clouds and sun around with a high of around 79 degrees. Then we start out the work week above average in the low 80s on Monday, a chance for a stray shower. Tuesday, a stronger chance for some heftier storms. Then we return back to average and plenty of sun by the end of the week, a typical mid-June week.
Well, at least it's not a washout for Father's Day on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm sure many fathers and sons will be paying close attention to the radar to see if any plans get ruined on Sunday.
And speaking of radar, that brings us to this week's Weather Whiz Quiz. Earlier in the show, we asked you what is the lowest scan above the horizon for a National Weather Service Doppler radar? Was it A, 0.5 degrees, B, 0.2 degrees, C, 1 degree, or D, 90 degrees? The answer, Travis, is actually B, 0.2 degrees. Now, I know that answer surprises some, but the National Weather Service is actually experimenting with a low scan in the Langley Hill radar out in coastal portions of Washington. Now, the importance of a lower scan is if you want to know what's going on at the ground, you got to scan as close to the ground as possible. And so the National Weather Service is actually experimenting with a 0.2 degree scan above the horizon out in Washington. Now, how does that compare to an average Weather Service radar here in central Pennsylvania, Travis?
Well, recently in the past, we've been using scans at the 0.5 degree level, which scans a little bit higher than a 0.2 degree level, and that just pretty much detects any motion near the ground, not really at the ground, which will help with a 0.2 degree radar scan.
But it's important to note that for now, the nationwide standard for the lowest scan is 0.5 degrees. Well, that's all for this edition of Whether or Not. We certainly thank you for joining us here. I'm your host, Tyler Jankoski.
I'm your forecaster, Travis Patterson.
Have a great day.